Welcome to Drive It, your car show on DWTV. Coming up, on the track with a 530 horsepower Porsche GT2. The new super economical Astra from Opel. And longer and even more powerful, the Audi A8 L. Audi's stretched version of the flagship luxury sedan, the A8 L, is finally hitting the street. The newcomer is elegant and nimble, despite its imposing 5 meters and 27 centimeters of length. Along with the standard range of 6- and 8-cylinder A8 motors, customers can also order a 12-cylinder, 500-horsepower gasoline engine, developed especially for the longer model. The Audi engineers added the car's extra 13 centimeters in the midsection, lengthening the wheelbase. Except for the length, the car is indistinguishable from the standard A8. And because many components are made with aluminum, the A8L is very light compared to other vehicles in the class. Product manager Misha Ehlers explains that the A8L isn't a heavy luxury sedan, but the lightest of the lot because of its aluminum construction. It's 200 kilograms lighter than the competition. He says the standard version has been positioned as a sportier model. The stretch version is aimed at those seeking more comfort. The interior leaves little to be desired. You're surrounded by leather and other exclusive materials. One option is 2 individual leather seats in back, which provide occupants with plenty of elbow room. On longer trips, they can be adjusted to fit the passenger's every whim, and they include seat heating, of course. After all, those who purchase this car are doing so because they want that extra bit of luxury. The front seat backs contain a top-notch entertainment system. Ehlers says the A8 has 3 very distinctive features. First of all, there's the panorama roof, which the Audi engineers covered almost completely in glass. Another unique selling point is that you can even open the rear glass element. The second special feature is the rear seats. If you want to stretch out, you can move the front passenger seat forward and deploy a footrest. It's very relaxing to sit or nap in. The third feature is the rear seat entertainment system, which boasts 10-inch screens on the seat backs for watching TV or DVDs. You can also plan your route from the back and display it on the navigation system in front. 3 clear arguments for grabbing the right-hand passenger seat at the back, he says. We tested the smaller 3-liter V6 diesel version of the A8L, which harnesses a stately 250 horsepower. And although the interior was also not the top range package, it was a lot of fun to be in, especially when sitting behind the wheel. Without the single seats in back, 3 passengers fit comfortably in the rear with loads of legroom. The 3.0 TDI sprints from a dead stop to 100 kilometers an hour in just 6.2 seconds. A start-stop system makes the car more economical. This motor version of the A8L burns just over 6.5 liters of fuel per 100 kilometers driven, almost 2 liters less than its predecessor. The A8's navigation system is also groundbreaking. The key word here is Google Earth, an application that breathes life into a map via its 3G mobile internet module. And online searches, if you're looking for a hotel in the area, for example, are no problem in a car with unlimited internet access. Of course, you can work in the back seat as well as relax. It's wired to the World Wide Web, too. The A8L is a car that cries out for a chauffeur. Since that particular status symbol has become less important in Europe, most of the stretch versions of the sedan are earmarked for export. Audi expects its primary markets will be abroad. Ehler says only around 10% of the firm's A8 customers in Europe order the stretch version, but around 70% of U.S. customers. In China, practically all orders are for the A8L. The 10 LED lights that are standard on the 12-cylinder version of the car look as elegant and upmarket as a necklace of fine pearls. This model is built to impress with its looks. That's an important factor in countries like Russia, especially in Moscow, where Audi hopes its new 12-cylinder flagship stretch sedan will convince plenty of new customers. Antique car rallies like those here in Montafon in Austria are a real magnet for fans because they provide one of the few opportunities to view perfectly preserved historical automobiles. But at this year's Silvretta Classic, 25 cars powered only by electricity had to cope with the challenges of alpine roads as well. And they weren't all exotic one-offs. A Golf was also among the participants. Ulrich Hackenberg says the Golf is the most popular car in the world because it meets all the demands a car should. And with this race, VW wants to show it can provide future customers with the reliable mobility of the future. Some cars are aimed at a more select group of customers. This Mercedes SLS doesn't have an internal combustion engine either, but it does have plenty of power. 533 horsepower and a staggering 800 Newton meters of torque. At least for as long as the battery lasts. Ola Kalenio says that from the very start of the SLS's development, Mercedes thought about an electric drive for it, and now the car maker is trying to combine that with the issues of performance and emotion. Sports car handling and no guilty conscience about emissions. Of course, there's no throaty growl from the engine, but the tires still squeak. In the Golf, you don't miss the sounds from under the hood nearly as much. With 115 horsepower, the electric version is just as powerful as its regular counterpart, and it was easily able to master the rally route. But its top speed of 140 kilometers an hour is a drawback, as is its maximum 150-kilometer range. The rally organizers' decision to present both the past and the future at a single event met with a lot of approval at Volkswagen. Ulrich Hackenberg says people at VW found the idea of the combination very exciting, looking back to the past on the one hand and into the near future on the other. And if you look at these extremes in the rally, he says, the passes that climb over 1,000 meters in a very short distance, it's clearly a great opportunity to show future customers that VW's cars are able to do that. Mercedes is also very proud of its entry. The carmaker showed at the rally that its designs are mature, says Thomas Weber. In fact, he complains that the route is far too short and insists that with Mercedes technology, you could go a lot further. Many of the other participants feel the same. Plenty of the electric cars here have broken the 150-kilometer distance barrier. Audi's e-tron can manage 250 before it needs a recharge. But in spite of all the advances, there are still some major hurdles to overcome. Weber says it's clear that there are still a few limitations, such as creating public stations where people can go to recharge or refill their automobiles, for example. You have to think about how you want to plan those systems. We all need to be pulling in one common direction, he says. The most common response he hears is surprise and fascination at how far along the technology is. A lot of city mayors have already told him they want to get going on the project, and he says that's exactly what we need to do.
Mensch, da muss ich ja jetzt loslegen und genau das ist notwendig.
The concept of electromobility is far from new. VW already developed and sold the Golf City Stroma back in the 1980s. It came equipped with a charging cable that could be hooked up to a standard socket, an electric motor under the hood, and a huge battery in the area where the gas tank and exhaust were found in a standard Golf. One big difference was that they retained the manual gear shift. Well-preserved specimens of the breed can still be used to perform daily tasks. But at the rally, they aren't taking part in the competition. Ulrich Hockenberg says that VW has always focused on the topic in both research activities and early development, and that now it's become much more relevant due to the huge leap forward in battery technology. With modern battery cells, we can drive much longer distances than we could before, he says. Electric cars now have a range of around 150 kilometers, a range that really poses an alternative for VW customers when it comes to worry-free mobility. In that sense, he says, the company has been able to gain a lot of experience over time that it will now be able to implement in its production cars very quickly. At the finish line in the village of Gashurn, the drivers of the electric cars were as proud as all the other participants that their vehicles mastered the 1,000-meter climb without any complications. The car of the future has gotten a lot closer. Jaguar has created the XJ75 Platinum concept car to mark its 75th anniversary. For all the hot rod muscle, the car is very stylish. Jaguar's design team has splashed out on a beefy exterior. It's based on the high-performance 470-horsepower 2011 XJ L. The 22-inch black rims and a chiseled rear gives this Jaguar a unique look and feel. The signs all point to a world premiere diesel-electric hybrid from Peugeot in 2011. Just a heartbeat ahead of fierce competition, the vehicle's electric motor will sit on the rear axle and be the car's main source of propulsion in regular city traffic. But out on the Autobahn, the unit powers a diesel in order to economize. The Ecoflex is Opel's ecologically friendly range of models. Whether the Insignia, Zafira, or Astra, Opel is offering Ecoflex models across its entire product line. 33 models currently sport the badge. Opel's Jürgen Keller touts the brand's green credentials, saying that there are Ecoflex versions for various models. Some are powered by gasoline or diesel, but others run on natural gas or liquefied petroleum. Only the versions with the lowest CO2 emissions are called Ecoflex. Newest to the growing fleet is the Astra Ecoflex Diesel, easily recognizable as an Astra. It's the aerodynamics that set it apart from the others. An integrated aero shutter in the radiator grille closes at high speeds, conducting the airstream around the car. The underbody has also been optimized to cut down wind resistance. Jürgen Keller is proud and pleased to present the latest Astra Ecoflex. The 1.3-liter CDTI engine is a new improvement to the Ecoflex range. With an average mileage of 4.1 liters over 100 kilometers and only releasing 109 grams of CO2 per kilometer, it's the lowest emissions car the company has yet produced. The newly developed diesel engine packs 95 horsepower under the hood, achieving speeds of up to 175 kilometers per hour. A low-friction 5-gear transmission improves on fuel economy. The Ecoflex models are Opel's first milestones on the road to zero-emissions motoring. The company's strategy is to continuously improve on the classic drive setups. Simultaneously, Opel is working on battery-driven electric cars, introducing the Ampera. Here, the goal is to keep improving on the range. Opel is also continuing to explore the viability of hydrogen fuel cells for its electric cars. The main goal is to make sure the cars are practical and affordable. The basic version of the new Astra Ecoflex diesel is available in Germany for €19,390. Opel hasn't left its drivers out of the equation. To maximize the car's energy efficiency, an indicator lets you know the best moment to change gears. The Ecoflex is ideal for city dwellers, but speedsters need not apply, with all of 14.5 seconds ticking away before the speedometer hits 100. A small price to pay, some would argue, for preserving our ecosystem. Opel's strategy is crystal clear for Keller. Opel wants to bring vehicles with this technology onto the market. The company wants technology that customers can afford and feels it has achieved its aim. With a view to 2009, 40% of all Opel cars sold were Ecoflex models.
Wenn Sie sich das Jahr 2009 anschauen, dort waren bis zu 40% aller verkauften Opel Ecoflex Modelle.
40% of models sold as Ecoflex is already a significant step in the right direction, and Opel is looking to increase its ecologically friendly record, with an even greater proportion of green cars in the years to come. This is not just any Porsche. It's a very special model. This is the 911 GT2. Race driver Patrick Simon explains what a Porsche GT2 is. Porsche simply took a turbo model and threw out all the stuff nobody really needs, put a GT2 badge on it, and got going. And getting going in this case means a top speed of 329 kilometers an hour and the dash to 100 in 3.7 seconds, thanks to a sumptuous 530 horsepower engine. There's a huge difference to the 996, says our driver. The 996 GT2 was essentially more of a sledgehammer model. Turn it on, put your foot down, and you had power right away. A lot has changed, he adds, but it's a question of actually realizing it, and that's mighty cool. He approaches the corner with all guns blazing. 212 kilometers an hour sounds like a new record top speed. Patrick's in love with the brakes and the wicked cornering, but says there's a bit too much understeer when accelerating out of corners. He says there's a bit of the 997 problem. It's the same with all 997 models. The understeer is down to safety issues, but can be manually modified. Speaking of safety, the GT2 series has something of a first. One thing to really note, says Patrick, are the driver assists, like traction control. Hardcore Porsche fans, of course, will ask how you can fit something like that into the GT2, which is a car for real men. Nonsense. You can switch it off if you want, he says, adding that he always welcomes a system like this one. What he likes about driver assist is that the driver can work with them. There's not just that silly babble about, yeah, like a racing car, like on the track. This is the real thing, and Patrick loves it.
Das ist real, das ist genau so, und das ist einfach sau stark.
On the visual front, there's little to discuss. The GT2 is simply a stunner, even in the trademark color of Porsche's famous rival from Italy. Somewhat less irresistible, perhaps, is the price tag, a hefty 189,000 euros. That's almost 45,000 euros more than for a regular Porsche Turbo. Visual highlights include the gills at the rear, yellow ceramic compound brake calipers, 19-inch Michelin Sport Cup tires, titanium exhaust pipes, and a monster rear spoiler. Moving on to the GT2's cockpit, sports seats with sound support. The red seat belts cost extra. There's Alcantara galore across the interior, and note that the speedometer goes up to 350 kilometers an hour. Everything is reduced to one thing: the essentials. The makers want nothing to distract the driver from his task: maximum speed. Need an example? How about a lap time of 7.32 around the Nürburgring's northern loop? The GT2 needs a firm and experienced hand to handle it. If you want to get everything out of this baby, you have to give everything. Says this is a real race car. He thinks the GT3 RS is cool and beautiful, and having something as drivable as this is a delight. Delightful, perhaps, but what counts is the lap time. On the test track at the Look Driving Center, we want to know whether the GT2 can depose the current record holder. The reigning champion, the Corvette ZR1, boasts a time of 1 minute, 6.58 seconds. Thanks to launch control, the Porsche gets off to a phenomenal start. The straight sections allow the GT2 to put its awesome power on display. Posting a top speed of 213 kilometers an hour, it's like a force of nature. It masters the curve section with the help of composite brakes, massive traction, and bags of power, whatever the rev level. There's always more in reserve. The clock stops at just 1 minute, 4.88 seconds, almost 2 seconds quicker than its rival from the U.S. Patrick Simon announces the new king of the ring, the Porsche 911 GT2, at just over 1 minute, 4 seconds and 213 on the speedometer. Any more questions? Not from him, at least. Every July, the picturesque little town of Estavayer-le-Lac in the Swiss canton of Fribourg hosts an extravaganza of freestyle sports. Events at Free for Style range from jet skiing and wakeboarding to the biggest crowd puller, the FMX motocross competition. Over 20,000 sports fans gather to marvel at the thrills and spills and somersaults on display. Breathtaking leaps combined with artistry in the air are the name of the game here, as the riders defy dizzy heights. Whether day or night, their acrobatic antics know no limits. Hands off the bars, leaning off sideways, or even cutting contact with the machine altogether. It's daredevilry of the finest order. Practice makes perfect, and it certainly comes in handy if you have your own freestyle course, like the favorite from Switzerland, Mat Reboul. But the bike itself has to have the right extra features.
We got a very hard suspension for absorb the big jump. We have, it's pretty easy to see the hole here for all the tricks for seat grab. We have here a stabilizer. That's for the trick, especially for the backflip no hand. We can tie the stabilizer and for make sure the bar don't move. We have here the super flip level. That's especially in backflip tsunami or backflip double can to not lose the bike when you flip. The thing is, like when you flip the bike, it's heavier and the rotation is faster than your body. And that's just to stay with the bike.
Without all this technical wizardry, the riders wouldn't be able to perform some of these spectacular tricks, and more importantly, make a safe landing. This year sees the 18th hosting of Free for Style. After everyone has shown off their tricks in the FMX competition, the riders award points to each other to decide who the champ is. This time, young New Zealander Levi Sherwood emerges as the winner, thanks to his amazing backflip combos. Local favorite Matrebo has to settle for the runners-up position. Coming up next week on Drive It, the Mini turns off-roader, the new Mini Countryman. Plus, elegance with a ruby black finish. We test the BMW 6 Series convertible.